Lindiwe Sisulu, the Minister of Human Settlements and Water and Sanitation, has appointed Menzi, Simelane and Shaik as special advisors to her office. This is the second controversial appointment in a few months, following the appointment of Bathabile Dlamini, the former Minister of Social Development, as the chairperson of the Social Housing Regulatory Authority Interim Board, to be in charge of a housing project worth R1 billion. This is the budget in the department. At the time, Makhosini Mgitywa, the department's spokesperson, said Dlamini remains a member of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, and she is the president of the Women's League, and we have to accept the fact that there is a deployment committee of the party that decides who can go where. Well, Makhosini, the department spokesperson, is with us now to talk a bit more. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about these. These appointments are again raising questions and people asking why. Why is this happening? And how do you explain that this is not cadre deployment once again?
No, look, I don't know what makes this an issue now. Advocate Menzi Simelane has been the minister's legal advisor since 2013. If you look at Shaik, he is someone who has been with the Development Bank of Southern Africa. We're talking here about a ministry that is looking at investment into infrastructure. We've got an aging and aged infrastructure. And therefore, there is an understanding as to why he should be there. And recently, he has been at the Zondo Commission, where he has been assisting the Commission. I don't know what would make this controversial, other than that the DA has made it controversial. The DA issued a statement, after they had asked a question in Parliament, which the minister answered, that indeed she has appointed these two individuals. And the minister is entitled to two special advisors, and she has exercised that right. And not only that, those appointments have been ratified by the Ministry of Public Service and Administration. So there's no point. I don't understand why there's a controversy. There shouldn't be any.
Can you say with a clear conscience that this was the minister's appointment and it was not an instruction?
Look, the minister is... there's something that I would want to clarify. And that is that the minister is not the president of the Republic. She is appointed into that position by the president of the Republic, and she didn't put herself in Parliament. She was put by the ANC, the governing party, in Parliament. And I cannot talk as to the instructions that she gets or doesn't get from those who are superior to her. But I would say this, that these appointments were made by the minister, and considering the skills that these people bring. And like I said, there was not an issue in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 in the appointment of Menzi Simelane as the legal advisor. It only became an issue after the DA raised it. Now, we as the ministry have our own agenda. We don't want to be responding to the DA agenda. And we would want to be responding to your agenda as the media, holding us accountable, not when you are part of the DA agenda of raising issues that shouldn't be raised as far as we're concerned.
Certainly, we're not part of any agenda, and I think that these questions are fair to be asked. They really are.
I'm answering them, yes.
And that's why you're here,
yes.
Because I think people, whether or not the DA brought this up or not, I think it would still be an issue, and there would still be questions, because these individuals all have question marks hanging over their heads, and one would think, are they really the best people for the job? I mean, do we not have new, bright talent out there that can come in and offer new, fresh perspectives, as opposed to bringing in the old guard to try and do what they've already tried to do?
Look, let me tell you what my frustration is and what our frustration is. Our agenda as the ministry is that there's a drought, there's a crippling drought that's affecting 4 provinces in a terrible way. I mean, if you look at Bathabile, I think there was a protest yesterday or day before where people just do not have the water. The dams have dried out. That's what we would want to be talking about. The DA doesn't want us to talk about. They want us to talk about appointments that were made in 2013. And I don't think that we should be entertaining that. We need to talk about the fact that there's millions of people who do not have access to clean drinking water. You and I live in places where you open a tap and you get water. You flush a toilet and your problems go away. There are people who do not have that, and we have to talk about that. And what we're noticing is that every time this minister does something that is towards solving the problems in the water and sanitation environment. Her solutions get problematized and weaponized against her. There are so many things that we're doing, for instance, around sorting out the problem, the malfeasance that is in the Department of Water and Sanitation. And whenever she does something about it, people create a problem out of it and then it's weaponized against her. And I don't think that is fair, because what is important for us and what is important for your viewers listening here is that everybody must have their constitutional right observed of having water and sanitation. And it really does not help us if we have to talk about issues that are being raised by the opposition. If the opposition wants to set the agenda for government, they must win elections. Yeah. My agenda right now is that of the minister, which is about making sure that everybody gets services, everybody gets what is their constitutional right to get water and sanitation.
Again, I emphasize we are not taking our cue from what the DA are saying. We're taking our cue from what South Africans are saying. And many are concerned. They don't have water. We've seen it firsthand. We know that the service delivery is not there. We know that there is corruption. We know that the management and the governance in many of these municipalities is well below par. Now, when you're bringing in people that are tainted, that do have question marks above their head, and you yourself have come out and said that we have to accept the fact that there is a deployment committee of the party that decides who can go where. These are deployments, and they didn't do a good job in the first place. Why do we need them again?
I don't know what we base that assessment on, that they didn't do a good job. I don't know why you would say Shaik didn't do a good job.
Bathabile Dlamini, former minister?
We spoke about Bathabile Dlamini, and I don't want us to go back there again, because we have an issue to talk about today, which you invited me for. Right, which is the issue of the 2 appointments of special advisors.
Three appointments, actually, with Bathabile Dlamini
The minister is entitled to 2 appointments of special advisors. Now, those special advisors have been ratified by the Ministry of Public Service and Administration. Right? Now, you want us to ignore all that and talk about what the DA is raising. That is what I have a problem with. Because your viewers and many people in South Africa would want us to talk about the drought, would want us to talk about the people who don't have access to water and sanitation, who do not have their rights observed, the right to dignity and the right to water, which is everybody's right. Okay. We would want to talk about water security, which is important for this country and its economy. Everybody has a right to water. That's what we would want to talk about. But our detectives want us to talk about the things that really are not going to take us anywhere. As I'm saying to you, the appointments of these 2 people was ratified by the Ministry of Public Service and Administration. Advocate Menzi Simelane has been with the minister since 2013. There hasn't been any issue since. Okay. Right? Shaik was head of the Secret Service until he was removed. We are made to understand that because he was fighting state capture, even his own contribution at the Zondo Commission now is that of assisting the Commission. So we don't think that because the DA has raised issues about this, now that's all that we must talk about. Okay. We disagree with that.
I'm going to pause you because I want to give you a chance just to end off the interview. Yes. We're in news time, so we've already stolen about 3 minutes. So let's quickly get a news bulletin from Sakina, and then we'll come back and just wrap up this interview and just get a few more answers as well. Sakina, over to you.